across the road. They're all just there. So yeah, I don't know what is in store for today, but that's what we were doing first, moving them. We'll bring them back up now again in about 10 days to scan them. The ewe lambs are in the fields up there. They will also be coming in, and then there's ones in the hill as well. We must get them and bring them down the lanarks. So, hoping for a good scanning. Heaving to get out. But Dad is moving a jeep so I can get this jeep in. We also had a new calf. Nice little Charlie heifer calf. She had a heifer last year as well, so that's pretty good. What do you think? Are you alright? This is Bo and Ace. Bo, Ace. Ace is Bo's dad. Solid block. Yeah. Right, so we're in the shed by ourselves at the moment. It's just a matter of feeding the calves, throw the meal, throw in some silage and some meal to these cows, the cow that's calved and the cow that's to calve, and then the cow with her twins. So, and I have a puppy with me at the moment. Let's get started. So I already cleaned out these cows this morning. Just swept all the dung. We'll lift it again when the scared calves. That's a clean enough bed for them too. First thing we'll do is feed the sheep that we have. Get them fed out of the way. Hello. Your cup of steak. It's basically 3 ewe lambs that weren't good enough to sell. With our other batch, an old pet ewe that I just didn't have the heart to sell. A pet lamb from 2023. Another pet lamb from 2024. And then a little ram lamb. He's the only ram lamb that we kept. He had a bad leg. Okay. Feed the calves. We've put up barriers and stuff because our sheds, they used to be over here, this direction. Everything blows into the shed and into the cattle. Okay, let's get this off. So we're gonna let these guys clean up this silage, clean it all out tomorrow.
You alright? You good here? You good here?
So this is for the cows that are to calve and has calved. You didn't see that, but she just fell flat on her face there. We're going to follow this again and go, and we have 2 heifers in the other shed that need a little bit of meal. The reason them cows are roaring is because the calves can get into a creep area and the poor cows stand and they roar and they roar and they roar, and their calves look at them and they're like, no, actually I don't feel like coming into you today. You'll be grand, mummy, I don't feel like coming in. This is the cows that are calved. Two Angus heifers. Seem to be the closest, Calvin. Okay, everybody looks good in here tonight. All of these are all to calve. Yeah, that's them sorted. Fill this hopper now for tomorrow morning. Yeah. Now the last and most important thing is to check drinkers. Nobody wants to eat a big feed and then realise they've got nothing to drink. They're going well, thank God. He's probably our biggest, broadest, what would you call him? Strongest. Had 7 calves now, and we've only assisted 2. One of the assists was because I think we were already here, and the second assist was because it was the one that had the twins. She was just too tired to calve the second one. So, but apart from that, the ball that we have at the minute so far is fairly easily calved. Charlie Limousine Cross, good big sturdy guy. Anyway, put this back here. This video is probably going to come out really dark, so apologies. Hi. Happy out. Just check her drinker actually. It's clean. I don't think I've ever done an introduction to who I actually am. I just kind of appeared one day, probably on your YouTube, with my old school silage or something like that there. But my name is Jenny, also known as JR.AgLife. We have Suckler and sheep, basically Charlies, Solare Cross, Charlies and Solares, a few Angus in there as well. For our sheep we have Charlies, Scotch Blackface, Lanarks, Perths and Suffolks. We're a fairly diverse farm, I suppose you could call it. Used to mainly be Charlies, but we've just noticed that the milk production and the heifers especially was dropping. Having good calves, not having the milk to feed them, as is a very normal thing to be wrong with Charlies. So we went out and we bought some purebred Solares and a purebred Solare bull. Put him with the Charlies, some very nice Charlie Solare cross heifers. So yeah, super happy with the Solares so far. I've had a lot of people say that they're crazy. I actually haven't found them crazy at all. They are a bit of a flight risk sometimes. They do love to jump things, so maybe that's a big flaw. We haven't had too much bother with it. They nearly always calve themselves. I don't remember the last time we've had to assist a Solare. The cows themselves especially, sometimes the heifers you've got to assist them, that's fine. But the cows especially, they usually calve themselves. So if you're thinking about the Solares, don't listen to all the people that tell you that they're terrible, that they're crazy. Yes, some are. I'm not going to deny that. I would suggest going the purebred route because most of them are fairly quiet. You can walk in around them. That's the way we found them. The guy that we bought them off took us in around the field, and around his bull, and around his heifers. I know that they're probably fairly used to people being in and out, but anyone that has cattle knows that when a stranger comes into a field, they know the stranger immediately. So they didn't even bat an eye at us being in, and that was kind of the selling point for us when we seen how quiet they were. So yeah, we bought the Solares, and we have them now since 2021. Can't fault them, to be honest. They're fantastic. Great big cattle. Really, really good milkers. They're very, very good cross of the Charlie Bull also, if that's something that you'd be looking for. Yeah, the Solares, can't fault them so far. But yeah, that's enough of me boasting about the animals. If you want to know anything else, write it in the comments. And thank you very, very much for sticking around this long. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Hope the little introduction was useful. I don't think I ever mentioned, but this is just a hobby to me. It's something that I always enjoyed. I always enjoyed documenting things. Through TikTok is how this started. I never intended on doing YouTube until I had people just asking to see more, and then I put up a few YouTube videos of lambing in 2025. A lot of people asking then about the old school silage. As plenty of you know, maybe that's the reason you're here to begin with. The old school silage is how we cut our silage. I can't see us changing that route anytime soon. So yeah, we'll continue to do it that way. for as long as we can. TikTok opened a lot of doors for me. Anyone who's thinking about it, if you're worried about what people will say, what people will think, don't. Just, who cares? Do what you want, do what you enjoy, and who cares what people think? As long as you're happy with yourself and happy with how things are working, and you're proud of yourself at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that are giving out, that are saying you should have done it this way, or you could have done it that way. This is the fantastic thing about farming, and the thing that I love the most is that every single farm is different. It doesn't matter what farm you're on, it's different. It doesn't matter where you go, you'll get an idea. This is why I think people posting on YouTube and TikTok and all the rest has been fantastic. It has really opened doors for a lot of people, opened eyes to the lifestyle behind farming, and being able to get ideas from other people's farms is also a massive plus. If anyone has seen my sheep shed video or the lambing shed video, I got that idea from just sitting down and watching Adrian Morris from I Farm We Farm. Just the way he had his calf pens done, it gave me the spark of the idea to be like, right, we have cubicles, let's change it. And thankfully my father was very receptive to what my idea was. He took me on and made it into a very, very handy sheep shed. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed watching. Okay, time for me to stop talking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.